What do you at, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Adreden, and today we're going to go over electricity and traps. Found this beautiful location. Not really, I made it. Yeah, this is a copy of a place called Wardenclef. If you don't know what Wardenclef is, you should take a look. This isn't quite perfect, and it's been a little bit post-apocalypticized. This is my lovely facility now for teaching you guys all about electricity. So I've got a couple of things started in my workshop. It's been a little run down, but it's going all right. So anyway, let's turn on the lights. Okay. So first things first. Electricity in 7 Days to Die is not too crazy. It's pretty simple to understand. We have ourselves power sources, such as a generator or solar power. Let's just get some solar power. Here's the solar power. Interesting note is that you can't put it down inside. You have to have sky above it. So when we go out here, boom, you can start to see that there is now solar energy. We'll put this one out here for our examples in a few minutes, okay? Solar panels, just like the generators, the gas generators, you can put in components into them to actually give them power. So, for example, it's solar cells in these, and all of this stuff has to be acquired at the traders. It can't be made. So we see that it's got a rating here of 168 watts. That's probably fine for what we want, but it runs all the time without any other issues. I think it's got to be sunny. We'll check back on that in a few minutes. So I wanted to also just show that changing out solar cells here does change the power, right? So we're at 159, 150. So the better your components are, the more energy you'll get. So you want to keep that in mind as you're building them. The same here goes with generators. Let's just clear our inventory. Okay, so that's clear enough. So we have the generator bank, and say we take a hodgepodge of different ones. There's 6 of different ranges. And we'll also take another one of these really nice ones. And so here is your generator. This one has nothing in it, obviously. They need to be refueled, so you can just do that just by doing that refuel button. Yeah, so that's the best way there. So fill it right up with gasoline. All it takes is gasoline. But yeah, we start putting in these ones. So we get 50 watts there. So we'd expect 100, but we're going to get a little bit more than 100. Take that one out and put in this guy. Yeah, even more. And a lot more. And even more. There's probably a formula for this. We could probably reverse engineer it, but at this stage, no one has. So, yeah, there's that. Actually, we're going to put this one in here. Good. Okay, now we're going to go and wire up a couple of things. We're going to take the wiring tool, which is this one right here. But we need to somehow get the power from inside over to this post. What is this post, you might ask? This is an electric fence post. It has all the different types of rotations you could possibly want. It's got some fun ones that we'll get into in a few minutes. Okay, so one of the first things you need to do is wires have a certain range. 10 is the range, at least between those posts. So I'm going to show you that right now. So we put up this insulator so that we can keep this inside, but we can bring the power outside with it. Okay, so this is your wiring tool, and so we have our interact with generator, but we don't want to do that. We want to right click on this little electrical insulator. That brings up our little wire. Yeah, nice. And then we just right click again up to there, and that with the wiring tool on, you can see the electricity flowing. Otherwise, you don't see it at all. So the other thing you can do is you can left click, and that will take the wire off. Okay, so let's wire this up. So we won't really pay too much attention to this first little bit. Let's disconnect some of these wires. Okay, good enough. So you can see here that it connects to this one pretty easily. Every component takes a certain amount of energy. This is 5 watts. I don't know that these take any. 1 watt. So they waste 1 watt, which isn't a real big deal, but you know, if you had a lot of them for a really long tower or something, yeah, maybe. So we can connect this to this. This should be 2 blocks away. Let's just double check for you guys. Okay, there's a space of 1 block between this one. 1, 2, 3. But essentially it's like 4 away. Yeah, so then, you know, it just keeps on being connected. Chunk. And now, yeah, we're just going to keep on daisy chaining this entire thing up. It apparently disconnects. Oh, I know why. This is another important point, is it always has to flow from the parent down to the child, is what it's called. So your electrical system flows one direction, and if you have it already set up and you're going the opposite direction, it cuts the connection, and oh, that's not what we wanted, and gets rid of it. Okay, so basically I just kept on going around here, and this one here is 7 to this next one, just to show that that one works. 8, 9, all the way to 10, but after 10 you try to connect it up, and at some point it will turn red. See, once you're beyond this point, it can't be connected. So I would be able to connect it here, but it's not something I can connect over here. So that's basically that. Alright guys, so here is the generator again. I've turned everything off, and this is how it works, right? So you can flick the switch on and off. We get nothing happening right now. So switch is off, switch is on, off. Okay, great. Here's a bunch of different lights that can be used in the game that are all controlled by electricity. But what we want to do is you want to, of course, make sure that you're fueled, that you have your power, and then you can turn it on here, or you can just turn it on there. So then that turns that on. Alright, okay. And the light switch here turns all the lights on. Well, it's not just a light switch. It's currently a light switch, but it can switch on anything. So, here's a whole bunch of lights. At nighttime, to be honest, I think probably this one is the best choice here. I think this is like industrial light or something. Okay, so it's warehouse outdoor light. I haven't tried the fluorescent light, but well, I guess we could do that right now. Okay, the fluorescent light also looks pretty good. With lights, you can switch them off by pressing E if you want. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, fluorescent light is also pretty good. Wasn't around exactly at the time that this place was made, though the one of the designers of this here place, he may have had something to do with the creation of those lights. Alright guys, so as part of the traps series, these here are, yeah, the electric fence posts. And they're just on all the time when there's power, and they can just create, you know, an electrical shock that isn't good for, well, the bad guys. So I just turned off my God mode. Let's turn on the generator. Okay, so now these are on. They are yellow, therefore they are active. And what happens when we walk into it is this. Oh, did that ever hurt? Ow! Okay, so let's see what happens there exactly. Shocked for 4 seconds. That's the buff you get. And the zombies will get the same thing, so it's pretty great for slowing them down. At this height, though, you may notice that, hey, the tall ones can walk into it, but what about the crawlers? Well, yeah, there's a couple of different things you can do with this. Okay, so here's something else you could possibly do with your fence posts. We're just going to get rid of these because we're not going to use them again. Yeah, so for example, you can have them sticking out of the walls, or, I mean, you know, they have a whole myriad of angles once you stick it into advanced that they can stick, so you can hang them from, like, all over the place. Let's see here, can we do this way? Let's put it... I thought I saw a nice upside down one. Yeah. So cool, we can do that. And yeah, really it's just wiring them up. So you to you. And there. Down to here. And this is where things can get kind of fun and interesting, right? So you can go put it down here. If the grass wasn't in the way. And connect it again and do it across the ground. So there's what you do to get probably both of them. And really, like, if I was to walk into that... wait a second. We don't have power. Why don't we have power? Okay, cool. Solar panels, when they turn on, make a crazy whoop 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 sound. Not like real life. Okay, so those are on now. And yeah, so you'll get zapped regardless. So you never know. I mean, it might actually be better to put them all down low anyway. But you can do other fun things, like put them like that. So they go side to side, right? If you really want it. So you can do all kinds of fun, different things with them. And different patterns. I suppose if you had another one here, maybe we could do one that also laid across the ground. Oh, this is a little bit goofy, but sometimes it happens. You always got to be careful with your positioning of things. Oh, it's actually in the wall. Okay. Come on, connect. And it's, I think, the one that's in the wall, right? Well, yeah. So you could connect it on multiple different areas, so you could have a really well-defended section of your base. Okay guys, welcome to the workshop. Here's some of the components you'll need. So all these components can be crafted now in the game. And this is what you need to do them. Forge 5, no, so it's 2 to 1 duct tape and forged steel to make mechanical components. You need the insulator, duct tape, and forged iron for the electrical parts. Electrical parts to make the electronic components, along with brass and scrap plastic. And yeah, this is how you make your insulators. Insulators come out of here. Okay, great. So here we go. We don't actually know how to do this. So this is where we need to figure this out, right? And as always, there's a bunch of different skills needed. I've given myself a ton of skill points just to kind of show things. So I've actually gone ahead and given myself more science than I really needed, but oftentimes I believe 3 is required for steel, as well as toolsmithing 6. So you're going to need, you know, a bunch of points to get up to all these different levels. So kind of keep that in mind as you're going along. Toolsmithing, of course, you're going to get because toolsmithing is super useful. Well, it's day 14. The Horde is turned off. Maybe we'll rewind time and come back to day 14 afterwards and show some turrets and stuff firing. So you're going to need the workbench to craft things like your electrical components and your parts, right? So all of these things are required for that. So you're going to need your workbench. Okay, and so here's how the electricity component of this works. So you can get a little bit of electricity right off the bat after you get Science 1. And this allows you to make your wiring tool, your wiring relays, simple lights, outdoor lights. Basically, you know, you can light up your little hideaway shack for the first little while. I haven't found it to be incredibly useful, so it's not something I've done in my games right off the bat. I generally, so far, have established bases before I've even started to get into electricity. So, for 3 points, I'm going to buy that. Second point, you get some more lights, and the speaker, and the spotlight. So that's kind of cool. The old spotlight, but it's now powered with power, so that's pretty cool. So we're just going to buy it because, you know, we got all the power that we can. So on Science 2, we can get our switches and lights, or switches and triggers. So we get our switch and our pressure plate. You've seen the switch. I will go over pressure plates later. Right now, it's, you know, we just have to wait. Then we get our special ones, like the electric timer one, which can turn on lights at different times of day for you, which is pretty fantastic. So, like, let's say lights come on at 9:50 or something, right? So you have light at nighttime when you want it, and you're not wasting your power. You know, we'll get into that. Bigger power pressure plates and tripwire posts. We'll get into those. Those are all for setting up special traps. Okay, we're gonna buy that. Motion sensor, that's a pretty advanced sensor, but we can get that. See, this is where, so now we're up to Science 6, right? So let's just go and finish buying our science together. Science. It's a lot of points. 12, kind of. Buy that, and we have that. Melee traps. We're going to go over the traps. These are the big bladed traps. Science 4. I've got some things set up. These light cones only show up when you have your wiring tool. This is the motion sensor. And these are the big bladed traps up here. This is the pressure plate, it's timer relay. The single pressure plate is there. I got a special setup here that maybe, hopefully we can show some awesomeness later. And some more turrets we're going to go over. Lots of stuff with the electricity system. Okay, we had to make sure our little character was all fed and watered. So, that done. We're going to move on. Some melee traps, the electric fence post you've already seen outside. And then the blade trap. Ranged traps, these are the dart trap, which is the early one you get. It fires iron bolts at things. We'll show you that one too. And then the shotgun turret is a pretty good short-range turret. Really powerful at close range, bad at distance. You know how a shotgun works. And then yeah, the auto turret. But what does this thing require? Science 7. So go back over to our science. Buy that back up. See what I mean? We had 100 and some odd points already, and it's already almost all gone. It requires a lot of points to get all these things. So here we are. Buy that. We're almost done. Yes, this is the do-it-yourself perk. We'll take a look at that in a moment. I'm actually getting myself some more points. Be right back. Well, there's the scream of the Horde. I'm still getting my levels up and getting all this. So, yeah, then generator bank. That's the generator we already built. So, Science 2, you can get that pretty early on. You know, that's pretty good. So, yeah, of course, the steel you're going to need for certain components. So, it's, you know, at some point you're going to get it. Plus, tools. Steel tools are the awesome tools, right? So, you have to get them. So, we'll be buying that. And do it yourself. So, what is this here? This requires construction tools 30. Not exactly easily done in a game where it's creative, because, well, you know, obviously didn't spend this much time creating this building in survival. I would have just never been able to do it in, what is this, 14 days? Yeah. So, construction tools. Finally, we're done leveling up. Okay. Construction tools. I'm just going to buy it up to level 30. But really, in-game, if you're building a decent 14-day base, you'll probably have, you know, this construction tools up to like around level 30 by then. So you should be fine. Okay, so do it yourself. This is the skill that allows you to make a lot of parts on your own. Instead of going out and ripping apart cars and televisions, lamps, whatever you can find to get these parts, you can actually make them yourself. So I have a wilderness survival game. This is what I'll be doing at some point. I'm just going to be making all the parts by myself, way out in the middle of nowhere. You don't really need the city, but it makes it a lot easier. I mean, if you're out and about, you may as well get them, right? But bam. Then level 2, science 7, pretty high. But, you know, you're going to need a lot of knowledge about science and whatnot to make these things in real life. So here you go. Electrical insulators and parts. Electrical components. We don't have science 10 yet, so even more upgrading for ourselves. Dunk, dunk. Oh, wow, what does this require? Player level 100. So doing it yourself all the way is going to be tricky. Okay. Wow. That's so easy to do when you have cheat codes. In game, player level 100, that's probably going to be something like 30, 40 hours of gameplay. I don't know. Somewhere around there if you're playing like pretty well. Okay. Bye. I don't know what the heck we're going to need all these levels of science for. Beyond this? That's crazy. Okay. Kill that. Is it in here? It is not. Okay. That's fine. We'll just go to all. Do it yourself. Oh, wow. Science 10. So we do need science all the way up. Okay. Player level 120. That's going to take a lot of playtime to get all the way up to that. Okay, guys. Level 129. I did a little bit overkill because I was just trying to plow through the levels. We can just get it. We have tons of points now. So some of these things that you want to do, the progression, what I'm doing, I'm just showing you sort of maybe what you want to do. But, you know, if you want to do some of this crafting stuff, it'll be pretty tricky, I think. So it's mostly the electrical components that apparently are the worst. So take apart a lot of TVs and stuff, that whatever you find along the way, because you're going to need them later on in the game. Voila. With that, I believe we have everything we would need for, you know, building things. Minus things like, you know, assembling shotguns or SMGs for your turrets, but I'll get into that later. Okay guys, so to build the generator, you're going to need 4 electronic components, 10 electrical parts, 10 mechanical parts, and 10 forged iron. All this might change when alpha comes out and balancing, but you know, this is roughly what you're going to need. Forged steel and 3 mechanical parts to build your wiring tools, so you're going to be like, you know, level 30, 40 before you kind of be able to do this all by yourself. These electric fence posts are a little more advanced, but, you know, they're not crazily expensive with 5 forged iron to 2. The timer relays are kind of cool, but we'll get into those later, but they're not crazy expensive. I mean, you know, if you're finding these electronic components around, not a big deal. These wire relays, which you're going to be building pretty early in the game, they're not crazy expensive. 2 and 2. It's not bad. So yeah, and that's mostly all of it's done on the workbench here, which is why we have that. Here is your pressure plate. It's constructed with 10 forged iron, 2 mechanical parts, 2 electrical parts. Here's your pressure plate 1x5, so you have an entire row of them. 50, 8, and 2, which is slightly cheaper than if you wanted to do 5 of them, right? Like this is the same, but this is cheaper, and this is cheaper. So yeah, it's not a crazy expensive thing to do. The tripwire post is 5 wood and 1 electrical part, so not crazy expensive. So you can also build the flashlight. now, with 1 forged iron, 1 rechargeable battery, so finally we have a use for those, 10 electrical parts, 4 duct tape, 4 scrap plastic, fluorescent lights, and all the lights kind of just come down to electrical parts, components, scrap plastic, and forged iron in slightly different variations. Spotlights are a bit different. They used to take batteries. I kind of wish actually they kind of still had a batteried version, but maybe they will in Alpha 17. Who knows? But yeah, basically the same sort of things, but with a headlight and a forged iron for that one. I don't know why that's all it would take, but okay, we'll just go with that. Okay guys, this is the speaker, and it is pretty loud, and I'm just going to take a little wire, go onto that one, because I don't want it to be on right off the bat, so this is going to get loud, but you can wire this into some cool systems, so maybe I'll show you some really fun ones later on. But here we go. So I don't know. Maybe you forgot it was Horde night. And you need to know that there's some zombies coming. So it doesn't look like it actually makes heat in the chunk. I don't know about that though. So I'll keep playing around with that. If I find out differently, I'll let you know. Alright guys, this is the motion sensor. You can set it to target yourself, target allies, target strangers, and target zombies. So let's take this off, and now it doesn't notice me, right? So you can do some interesting things with it there. But it's good if you want to target zombies that might be coming into your house. I don't know, maybe you want some extra guns or something. And you can change the delay, so how long it takes to turn on, so up to 5 seconds. Power duration, once again, you know, you have a number of times to choose from. There you go, all the way to always. So once it's just on until you turn it off. That's kind of cool. And camera preview, so you can change where it's looking. So like I have a door here, and of course the door right there. This way I can cover, say, some exits that I may want to, I don't know, guard. To get out of this, you press tab. Yeah, there you go. So that's that. In terms of powering doors with them, I was thinking, oh, maybe this door would work, but I will keep playing with it. I don't believe there's a way to do it. I mean, you can connect something with that, but it doesn't seem to click to the door, so I don't know. Alright guys, so here's a different part of the electrical system. Here's some traps. These are the big blade traps that we were talking about. They're kind of a melee trap. Their placement is a little bit weird. They're pretty big, but you can put them on walls if they are above the ground a little bit, and on the floor, and even overhead, like a giant deadly ceiling fan of doom. Okay guys, here is the single pressure plate, and it's wired up to a number of things right now, but you know, it's just an example of what you can turn on. So maybe you'll have some ideas. But yeah, it's kind of a fun way to just, you know, because you have a certain amount of power, right? Like I was talking about with the battery banks, or with your power, like your gasoline, you only have a certain amount, right? So you want to make sure you can conserve it. Okay, but yeah, and it should turn off basically right away as soon as you step off. Sometimes there's a bit of lag, but it's not crazy bad. On, off. Alright, so there you go. Alright guys, so this is the pressure plate by 5 and the blade traps that are on the ground. So I mean, if you were to step into them, I'll show you an example of that in a moment, but boom. Turns on instantly here. And the wiring for this guy is as follows. Okay, so what I've done is I've got a little generator, so it's powered. That goes to this entire thing, and this is just a big switch, right? And it turns everything on. It goes to this relay and just triggers all these You don't actually have to go through the relay. You could go from this to your traps just fine. That's sort of what I've done here. I go from this. The wires do go through walls at the moment, so that's fine. And then from this pressure plate up to the different, out to the different connections, right? So that's as simple as that is. Alright guys, this is the battery bank here. This is another source of power. This one has a bunch of batteries possible to put in it. I put a small one in it just so we can do some testing. So there's a bunch of lights here, and these are all 5 watts, and they're all daisy chained. And so this has a maximum output of 28 watts. This switch up here turns these on, but we need to turn on the battery bank first. So boom, and 28 watts is what it puts out, but you can see that it's dropping. Anyways, 5 of these lights are lit, but no more, because it can't power that many at a time with this small battery. Yeah, so 25 watts are used, and that's about it. So now we're gonna do some charging of the battery. This one here, so we can see that it's used some of its power. And this switch here turns the power on from the solar panel on the roof, and it's charging the batteries inside now. So this is one way that you can store power for later use. Okay guys, here I have a couple of turrets. This is the auto turret, and it takes a couple of watts, and it requires these 9mm rounds. Grab some shotgun ones for the other ones so we can get that all loaded up. So basically, yeah, you just you can not do anything really until you get power to it. So we grab a little bit of wire, connect it up. There we go. So you can see yellow, we're good. And we can change the camera angle because I want to put it over here because I have some blocks here to measure where we're going. So let's load her up. Gotta lock it in. Yeah, there we go. And targeting is kind of like the motion sensor. You got yourself, allies, strangers, and zombies, which is the main one that you want. So there you go. And there we go. Let's spawn in a zombie over there. Zombie Arlene is my favorite, and holy cow, that thing works quick. So that's 20, almost 30 on this. I don't know, maybe it has even further range than 30. But I don't know. I'm pretty impressed. 30 is pretty good, and considering it took her down super quick. So over here is the shotgun turret, and it is also not connected. So we're gonna connect it up and basically do the same thing. Aim it over towards our measuring system, and that's all good. Check its ammo, put that in there. And I do want to check out the slugs, because I don't know that they've finished, or if they've made it so you could use them or not. So no slugs yet. Stable just... this was stable, so yeah, I don't know when they're going to put them in. Back to zombie targeting only, just because I want it that way. And another Arlene? No, yeah. Whoa! Just like that. Taken out. Amazingly quick. So this one we're going to put a little further away, and she's walking away. So let's go get her. Come on, Arlene. Hello. There we go. Okay. We run out of the way of the turret. Here we go. And there she is. So, let's see. Boom, gone. Could even say, see ya. Anyway, so within the 20 block range, right? So it probably has a 20 block range. And then it took 3 shots to kill her. So here I've taken the motion sensor and I've connected it up with these dart traps. So inside the dart traps you can see that you've got these iron darts, which are made in the forge. Anyways, you put them back in, you lock your ammo just like your turrets, and then you'll be able to fire them. These are all wired in over there. I've got the switch here and I'll flick it on in a second. So I'm just going to summon a zombie and hopefully she'll come in and... Okay, we're going to go get her. Come on, you. Come on, there you go. So hopefully this thing will start firing. Oh, right. We need to turn on the switch. But it's too late. Okay. Okay, now we're over here. Okay. Yeah, you have to be very careful not to get shot by these things. Because they hurt quite a bit. Sometimes they can cause bleeding damage. But yeah, she's not in range there because she's not in the light cone. So they aren't activating. So we have to draw her out. And there she goes. But I got shot again. But this time, yeah, you see I'm bleeding. And we're going to go back in and try to get her to finish off. We're going to jump up here. There we go. And she's done for. I sometimes get asked about doing examples on a Horde night. Anyways, this is an example here. I showed you a bit earlier about these giant spinning blades. I have thought of some newer configurations, but I'll talk about them in another video. Guns can shoot through these iron bars, so you can use them to protect your guns. The layout here is not really great. That's a shotgun turret. But you can put them upside down, not upside down, but hanging from things, so you can aim them. Anyways, it's connected from the generator over there, up to the motion sensor to the turret. That's how it all fires. So you can see that this thing is aimed kind of after the blades, which are right there. So just anything that passes that line will get shot by the turret. Kind of a second line of defense, I guess. And over here we have the auto turret, the SMG version. Two of them, I don't know why, I just chose two. We're going to put some ammo in them and lock it. Lock that ammo in there, and yeah. Basically just make sure everything is good. So you can fit through these things and not take damage if they're not spinning. So you just need to kind of maneuver yourself around them. And yeah, that's sort of my setup. Sort of some blades in front that can chop things up. This thing is, yeah, all wired up to go. It's set for a 1 minute duration to go on, but of course you can set it for smaller durations if you want to, or longer. Totally up to you. So the power comes, yeah, from the generator to the giant plate there, which then goes up to these little relays, which the relays then bring it back down to the different blade traps. You don't need to be so elaborate. I just want it to be a little more clear, but in some ways it's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit extra. Okay, let's get to this. This is not an exact perfect Horde night. I don't actually have zombies spawning in because I want to be able to kind of control where they're coming from, but they at least have some of the features. Yeah. Broke my leg while filming this part. This part I did. Filmed it, and now I'm doing a voiceover, so... here we go. So we're going to spawn in some zombie Arlenes. And we're going to see what they do to you. Basically just this particular thing. And I thought this was actually fairly interesting. Interesting behavior. They don't actually go for the blades. They actually go for some of the weaker blocks off to the side. I don't know why, but keep that in mind, I guess, when you're building your own bases there, because I wasn't exactly expecting them to do that. Anyways, I dragged them over here by flying into the gutter mode. There we go. So it takes care of them pretty quick. Yeah, that's pretty much that. A couple stragglers. Yeah, here's some radiated whites, as they're called, and they do really quick work to this place, man. They just rip it apart. I have never seen 25s at a time yet, but this is... I've only ever seen up to day 28 Horde, which I've seen about 5, 6 of them at a time. Anyway, this many starts to really lag out my computer at a time, so we just get rid of them. I rebuilt everything with polished steel just because I didn't want them breaking off the blocks below. I wanted to see what would happen on the actual with the blade traps. And here, they're not quite getting close enough. I don't quite know why. But, hey. And then they finally broke it. And because they can break these things, and they'll also get damaged. So a little bit of cleanup. So this is me just rebuilding it, kind of how it was. But I was wondering, because like it didn't seem like I was hitting them all, but I think the problem was that the two on the left and the right are actually one block further out than in the previous test. So they're missing a couple of the extra ones. Yeah, I also set up this little right pressure plate to trigger the ones on the right rather than everything else. And in the whole wiring fiasco, I forgot to wire the switch up to these ones over here on the left. Anyways, it all works now, and we're going to test it some more. But I think I put 2 more little blade traps in because I want to try to get some of the ones that are there on the ground cut up quicker. I don't know. We'll see how it works. Okay. Horde Night. Take 2. Or 3. A single zombie Arlene. It makes pretty quick work of her. Like I said, I got some newer designs I want to try out with the blade traps to hopefully take care of some of these crawlers. We'll see though how that all works. Yeah, and she's just sort of banging away there. Because again, I'm in God mode, so it doesn't really do much to me. Alright, let's spawn a whole bunch of them in this time. And these burnt guys, they go down pretty quick overall. I mean, you know, there's still a couple stragglers. But really, if you've got a setup like this, you're not gonna really have to worry about, you know, horde sizes of even probably 32. Ah yes, businessman Feral. These guys are a little more hardcore. They get mowed down pretty quick. Yep. And almost done. Yeah, so 25 zombies is a little bit laggy on my machine, but it's not too bad. And then in my rebuild, because the guns fell down, I forgot to put them back up. But, you know, that's not really a big deal. So I want to see these radiated whites again, because they are just some hardcore guys. Late game stages are going to be very interesting, I think, in Alpha 16. And in Alpha 17, when the behemoth comes, oh man, that is just going to be awesome. But yeah, these things are like nearly indestructible. Man, they are brutal. Because of their regenerative abilities, they can... This many of them outlast a lot of things. But yeah, lots of lag. I don't know if it's because of the shader on them or what. Yeah, anyways. like and subscribe, guys. If you thought it was interesting, perhaps give it a share. It really helps the channel grow, and I hope to be putting out more videos very soon. Thanks. Bye.